and welcome back to the Radioactive Ramblings podcast, where we are here and ready to defend ourselves from any bad reviews with a pool cue and a roulette wheel. My name is Aaron.
And my name is Richard. Today we're going to be talking about Fallout Season 2's finale titled The Strip. But before we get into that, Aaron, how are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good. I have been playing some Shadow of War and getting my Lord of the Rings fix. What have you been up to lately?
You know, dealing with those evil residents. 3.
You know, I keep getting... Every time I boot up my PC, the Epic Games launcher automatically launches and it keeps shoving Resident Evil Requiem in my face and telling me that I should pre-order it.
Dude,
Never played one.
I wish that my computer would shove Leon Kennedy in my face. Are you kidding me?
But anyways, we should probably get into Fallout because there's a lot to talk about in this finale. Things are crazy, things are happening, but before we do that, you want to let people know how they can get in contact with us even though we're going to be in off season for a little bit?
Yeah, we've got a plethora of ways to contact us. We've got our email, radioactive@thelorehounds.com. We have a channel set up for Radioactive Ramblings in the Lorehounds Discord server, and we're also pretty active on all of the different threads for Fallout. And then there's one for everything in that server. I mean, we really got a lot going on. But there's also a contact form, or you can leave us a voicemail at thelorehounds.com, and consider giving us a follow on Blue Sky at Radioactive 141. We would also appreciate a rating on or a review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, wherever you listen to us. It just helps other people like you find us and grow the network.
Yeah. So, with that being said, do you have anything that you would like to say to the people before we get into our story arcs? Do you have any confessions?
I have some confessions. I thought the Deathclaw boxing was the coolest fucking thing we've ever seen in Fallout.
Honestly, yeah, it was pretty awesome. I can't think of anything that tops it at this point. Maybe some Liberty Prime shit, but
like seeing that, all that was going through my head, and probably your head too, is just hell yeah.
yeah. And that's a good time to mention that from here on out, full spoilers for both seasons of Fallout and whatever we feel like talking about from the Fallout games, because we do like to bring a lot of lore and little game details into our podcast here. So be warned if you have not seen the episode or you have not played the games and you're planning to and you don't want anything spoiled for you, now's a good time to exit.
Yeah, odds are there's going to be decent spoilers at least mentioned from each of the games, because we got a lot to talk about this episode. I mean, I don't know where to start. Aaron, what you got?
Well, I have a question. Do you think that Deathclaw boxing is that going to be a Winter Olympic sport or is that a Summer Olympics type of deal?
Honestly, I think it's cool enough where it deserves to be in both.
That's a great point. Are there any sports that compete in both Olympics? I don't think there are there?
I don't know. I don't really pay that much attention to the Olympics. I'm going to be real.
I don't either. I have not watched a single minute of the Winter Olympics. I heard there's some bad things happening on the ice. Someone said it was melting. I don't
Something
know.
like that. Yeah, I've seen some clips of like the figure skaters, because strangely enough, that's what I'm getting in my recommended is figure skating. I
Yeah, I
am,
mean, they're popular right now. They're
yeah.
really getting coverage.
I mean, and they're great. I don't know really anything about it, so it's just like hell yeah, that dude just or that girl just spun 20 times in the air in half a second. Like, that's so cool, but I don't know if that's like, I don't know.
That's an appreciation for the sport. And while we're talking about our appreciation for Deathclaw boxing, we might as well just get right into Max, Thaddeus, and the whole Freesider plot line that we had in this episode.
Yeah. So obviously, I know we've been talking about it off air for weeks now. Um, Maximus probably had, or at least is tied for, the number one story arc this season, and this finale really cemented that for me.
Yeah, I would have to agree. And I think that the way that they wove flashbacks to the cold open that we got, I think it was episode 2 or 3, where Maximus is surviving the destruction of Shady Sands. He's with his father, and he hears in his head his father's voice telling him, "You're a good boy, you're going to be a great man, or you're going to be a good man." And that's what's important to him in that moment when he is down on his luck. He is struggling against the death claws, just that desire. I need to be a good person. That's what I've been trying to do my whole life, and now I know how to do it.
Honestly, a true hero. I mean, that guy, obviously he was boxing the death claws in the power armor, and that's great and all. But I think the real testament to Maximus's character is that after he got out of the armor, he picked up some garbage on the street. Maybe not garbage. He picked up his pool cue and roulette wheel, and he, unarmored in a t-shirt and like cargo pants, just went at a death claw. Obviously, he didn't have to fight it directly because of that NCR ranger, but like he was going to, and I think that's what counts.
I think the most unrealistic thing in this universe is that anyone owns a white t-shirt.
Yeah, like I don't get that, because even if you play through like the cleanest possible way, like or play through a Fallout game, you're gonna do some nasty shit. People are gonna die.
Would a white t-shirt even exist anymore? Like everything is stained
I
and
think the only way that people would get white stuff is from the vaults, but it wouldn't stay white.
yeah,
Oh, he was in the vault. Like he was in vault. Whatever. That actually kind of makes sense.
true. Do you think they have washing machines in the Brotherhood, or is that like taboo tech?
They
No
might not
one's
have
allowed to have
washing
that.
machines, but I'm sure that they still like do wash stuff, like hand wash it.
Yeah, it doesn't look like a lot of people are washing themselves or their clothing in this universe, but maybe the more organized folks are. I don't think the strip is too nasty, or Vegas in general is too nasty, but I just keep thinking back to the guy in season 1 who's in literally like a trash diaper in front of the like water
Uh,
pump, and he's putting sand
what?
into the water pump when Lucy is on her way to Philly in like the first episode or second episode. You know what I'm talking about?
I, maybe I'm gonna have to like look into this afterwards. Do some research.
Anyway, it's not important. My point is that everyone is filthy,
Oh, 100
and
percent.
everyone should take a bath in the nearest non-irradiated water source that they can find.
Except Thaddeus, he's doing great.
Fatty, he's just kind of rotting away. I don't know if a shower would save his ass.
He's rolling in cash though. After all that, I would have to assume.
His bet's got to be disqualified, right? You can't bet that someone is going to win and then get out there and start shooting at his enemies. And
I
even
mean,
if they
you
did allow it,
can.
you could, but even if they did allow it, the NCR rolls in at the last minute and saves them. So is Thaddeus going to be a rich man next season, or is he 500 caps down?
He is not 500 caps down. That man better have. He at least better keep the 500.
I feel like the fact that everyone lived through that experience should be enough to win him the bet.
Yeah, or at least again his money back, because like they were all going to fucking die, and the fact that not a single person except for that one old dude was just like, whatever, he's dead, is insane.
Yeah, I don't know the character's name, but I just think of him as Ibrahim from The Bear. But he was great in that moment where he sees Maximus get out of the power armor, and you kind of get that Spider-Man moment where he's like, it's just a damn kid out there. Like, we got to help
Yeah,
this guy. We got to get him. And
of course the
nobody.
residents of Freeside are, and it makes sense. Like it fits for the world that they don't go out and help. But I'm hoping that we can get a similar moment later in the series where someone does step up and help. Like I would like for his stand against the Death Claws to have a lasting effect on at least the strip.
Yeah, I think so, because at this point, Maximus has done enough heroism to inspire at least one person in
Yeah.
that in the Atomic Wrangler, bartender, or owner, whoever he is. And he has that power and has that ability to bring the people around him together a little bit. And I think that Lucy sees that potential in him. The ghoul saw that potential in him, which is why he put him in the power armor. He's inspired Thaddeus too, I think, to be a better person.
Yeah, Thaddeus was kind of a dick at the start because he was just like, they'd all beat Maximus up, which is
Yeah.
horrible. And, Thaddeus talked about it in season one about how, like, it happened to him. So then when someone else came along that he could, bully the fuck out of, he did. But that doesn't make it okay. And I'm glad that he's really changing for the better. Plus, I love Johnny Pemberton. He's fucking hilarious.
Yeah, the development of their friendship has felt really natural. It's it never felt ham-fisted like they had to sit down and talk to each other and say, "Oh, we had our differences, but I guess we have to work together now." It was just kind of this understanding of you and I have screwed each other over a little bit. I pretended to be someone I wasn't and bullied you. You kicked the shit out of me when we were in boot camp.
Yeah.
We're both in shitty
But then,
situations.
like, two, you get
Yeah.
at the end of season one, um, Maximus stalls the Brotherhood so that Thaddeus can get away. And I think that was also super, like, pivotal in their relationship changing.
Yeah, that's true. We've seen Max from the very beginning of this series not share the Brotherhood's views on ghouls. Like, he didn't have anything inherently against the ghoul. He didn't have anything against Thaddeus. He obviously saved those children from Paladin Harkness in episode 3 or 4. So he has a moral compass that's a lot stronger and more correct than a lot of the Brotherhood, I would say.
Yeah, I'm really hoping that, as the show continues, I do enjoy when, like, they make a character kind of go down the dark path for a bit, but I really hope they don't do that for Maximus. I think it would be a better representation of him if they didn't do that.
Yeah, I that's an interesting thought because if anyone is going to fall, I think it's going to be Lucy. I think that we already have the ghoul who started off at that villain point. Like, he comes into the show in the first season. He's an antagonist for Maximus and some of the other folks. He's trying to get the head from Lucy and hunt her down, essentially. So he's gone through a lot of development of becoming a better person in the wasteland. I'm talking about him separate from Cooper Howard because at this point they really are just two separate characters and we haven't seen where one becomes the other. But you do see Cooper shining through in the ghoul a few times in this season as he makes choices
Yeah.
that are a little bit closer.
I actually really enjoyed the scene of Cooper and Maximus. It's like at the start of this episode where they're talking about what to do with the diode, and Cooper kind of sees himself, or the ghoul sees Cooper, I guess, in Maximus when he's like, "I want to give the diode to Lucy because she's a good person. She'll do the right thing with it," that kind of thing. And I
Yeah.
think, like, he's got like a little grin on his face when Maximus says that, and like that's a good scene for not only Maximus but also for the ghoul.
Yeah. And I think that the ghoul feels like he's doing it in a better way than he did because like you said he had that moment where he thought that he was doing the right thing with the diode, the ghoul, in the pre-war times, and it turned out to be the wrong choice, of course. So I do hope that Maximus made the right choice by giving it back to the ghoul in the end. And House probably still has it.
He
I don't.
does. Yeah.
Yeah. I have some theories about that, but we'll save it for the end. I don't know if that's necessarily true or not.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I this is a good point to transition into talking about the NCR. Captain Rodriguez from the first few episodes shows back up, and
Mhm.
she actually comes back with some NCR reinforcements. She wasn't wrong. She wasn't delusional like a lot of us thought,
Yeah.
like the ghoul thought. she genuinely comes back with an elite squad. Like there's Rangers in there. There's
And and let's talk about that scene, right? Like
yeah.
the Ranger scene. Aaron, I know we were in Discord together, but how'd that make you feel?
It was such an awesome moment as a New Vegas player because that shot where the NCR Ranger is up on top of a building and is firing the 50 caliber rifle and taking out a Deathclaw, that is almost a exact recreation of the opening of Fallout New Vegas. That the flames or the explosion of the bullet coming out of the sides of the gun, like everything about it was just straight out of the game. And so it was really cool to see that come to life in
Yeah.
live action. Although I will say that one thing on a rewatch that kind of rubbed me the wrong way. It almost looked like the Ranger was just a statue. Like there was no movement in that guy when he was firing the gun, and it looked a little bit goofy on a
Yeah.
second watch. But maybe
And
that's just nitpicking.
but like I wouldn't say it's completely nitpicking because like a 50 cal, I don't know a lot about guns. That's a big fucking snipe. Like that is going to give you some recoil, some like effects, and we can totally say that the Rangers just like that because why not? I mean,
Yeah,
he is like that. But realistically, that shit's gonna kick back.
yeah. And that was one of the few times in this episode where I was a little like, okay. Like that was really cool, and I love that scene more than I have issues with it. But it
Yeah.
did come off a little bit strange at how flat and just still everything was during that moment.
Yeah, even
Um,
if like he just like nodded to Maximus as like a I got you type of
yeah,
thing, like that would be fine. So like I do get what you mean about that. Very
yeah,
static. But it was still cool, you know. Rule of cool.
it was. And you see the NCR marching in. They've got quite a lot of soldiers, but do you think they've got enough to defend themselves from the Legion? Are there more behind them? Is that just one little platoon out of their bigger force?
See, I don't know. I'm thinking that next season, I think you and I already talked about this off mic obviously, but I'm thinking next season is going to be very similar to and not everyone's going to get this reference, but it's going to be very similar to Mistborn Book 2. It's going to be a siege with all of these different armies vying for control of the strip because we've got House, we've got the NCR, we've got the Legion, we've got something's happening with the Brotherhood, but maybe they're going to be off on their own. But
Yeah.
I could totally see them coming to the strip if they find out, you know, word of mouth travels. Maybe they find out about the diode being there somehow.
Yeah, you mentioned the Brotherhood. I'm really curious about how they're going to bring the Brotherhood back into the story because they're really separated at this point. We don't have any major characters who are there anymore. I guess we
Aside from
could,
Quintus,
yeah, we have Quintus who we could, I guess, flash to, but he's more of an antagonist than someone that we would really follow. Not that that
it
stops them from making scenes about him, but they've also got Dane there who maybe could be a little bit
that's
bigger of a character.
yeah, that's what I was thinking. Maybe they make them
Yes, I think.
into more of like a maybe not even like a main character, but like you know we got a good amount of like for instance Hank this season or Norm, like maybe bring them up to that level at least where we get like a couple snippets an episode.
Yeah, I think that would be pretty cool. I hope that we get something from them. Then again, we could always have a little bit of a break from the Brotherhood and maybe they show up guns blazing at the end of the season and we see what they've been up to. I do want them to transition into whatever's happening in Colorado and be a little bit more involved with that and less involved with the Brotherhood because the Brotherhood honestly didn't have too much involvement with this season once they lost the diode.
Yeah.
That's the other thing I want to talk about.
Yes.
I don't know if this is maybe the right point to talk about the diode, but I feel like we need to see a little bit more of why the diode is so powerful and important. We keep seeing everyone get it and want it, and it just keeps changing hands, and we never actually see the effects of why this thing is so important for someone to have. No one has actually benefited from the diode, and it's getting kind of stale to watch people just hand it back and forth to
Mhm.
no real end. I need someone to hold it for long enough that they can do something with it.
I think we're gonna see that. I really do because Robert House has like 100% has the diode because it's still in that like in the locked door thing that he controls. And like obviously people can blow through it, they can get in there, but he's probably not going to let that happen. I'd
Yeah.
hope. Like I think House has is going to do something with it because like he's wanted it for 200 years now.
Yeah.
And I'd assume in the 200 years his plans for it have probably changed thousands of times because I mean it's Mr. House. He's fucking plotting some shit for sure.
Oh, absolutely. For a little while after watching that finale the first time, I thought maybe Cooper had somehow gotten it out and taken it with him, but I don't think so anymore. I don't think it would make much sense for him to take it with him. He's tracking down the Enclave, and I think the last thing that he would want to do is bring the diode straight back to them, you know?
Yeah. Which let's talk about the Enclave just a little bit.
Yeah, what you got?
What the fuck, dude? like they are actually being built up so well right now. I am so excited to see like that facility that we saw at the end. Looks like it's in some snowy mountains. You know what place has some snowy mountains?
Great state of Colorado.
Exactly. I think we're gonna see some fucking crazy shit with the Enclave. And if we're talking about crazy shit with the Enclave, let's see some cool death claws, like some heavily experimented on death claws.
Yeah, I'm all for the show being creative with the mutants and giving us some variations or inventing new things. Like the Gulper that was in season one was kind of a new design. We've had Gulpers before, but that thing was an abomination in its own right. It was its own thing, new to the universe. So it
Yeah,
was really
what?
cool.
So like, are normal gulpers in the games also axolotls, or is that like
No,
what was different? I guess is what I'm asking.
they're more like regular salamander looking. They're just kind of smooth, and they're kind of like stubby two-legged salamander things. They're a lot in the Far Harbor DLC of Fallout 4, and they show up a decent amount in Fallout 76. They are
Okay.
not that axolotl variety, but I like the axolotl variety a lot.
Yeah, I thought that was cool, and it like I like I think we've said before. I think unique mutants are a great thing to show off, especially in the show, because even though there are a ton in the games, you're not guaranteed to come across, a unique variant of a monster. I didn't see a glowing one for forever in Fallout 4. So like that was something that I never saw. A Mirelurk King I only saw when I did the Minutemen, and like that's something that's pretty unique looking. Or
Yeah, those
Mirelurk
moments.
Queen is what I
Yeah,
was thinking of. My bad.
yeah, those moments where you find like crazy and incredible creatures that you've never seen before really define the game. That feeling of, oh shit, this is something that I should not have provoked, and then you have to figure out how to deal with it.
Yeah.
And I like that feeling. I think that they got it right in the show with that. And I think that they got the death clause really, really right.
I agree. Like I said though, give me some weird experimented Deathclaw. Give me a cyborg Deathclaw at this point. I mean, what have they been doing for 200 years if they don't have something like that?
I wonder if they're going to use Hank's new miniaturized mind control devices in order to control the death claws a little bit better, because they have used mind control devices on death claws before. The Enclave is to
Wasn't the
varying
demon in
degrees
the
of success.
snow a mind controlled one?
Yeah, I don't know if that one was mind controlled or not. I would imagine if he left Cooper alone, probably.
Yeah.
So
That's
yeah,
kind of
that's
what I
interesting.
figured because like those things do not pass up an opportunity for a free meal.
No, they do not. They are bloodthirsty and they will kill anything in their path. I really enjoyed that they had Deathclaws as pack animals again. It was kind of shitty in Fallout 4 to see Deathclaws as solitary creatures, so great to see that. And I know that we've talked about this in previous episodes, but please keep up the practical effects. Most of those Deathclaws, most of the creatures, any of the ghouls, all
The
of it,
power armor,
yeah, it's like 60, 70%
six,
practical with a.
seven.
I knew you were gonna. As soon as I said 60 to 70%, I knew I had made a grave error. But
Yep.
the 60 to 70% of it is like practical effects, and then they've got some CGI to make it look a little bit better and fill in the gaps. And I think that's a great approach. Keep it up.
Yeah, it's very, I mean, and it should be because this is Jonathan Nolan, but it's very Christopher Nolan esque, and like he's one of the best directors of the of right now.
Have you seen Westworld?
No, it's not. You know what I'm gonna say?
Don't put
That
it on your
list.
list. Don't put
Really?
it on your list. No, it's not very good past the first like two seasons.
All right, maybe I'll watch the first two seasons then.
Maybe. Yeah, but the creators of this show are the same people who made Westworld, and there's a lot of Westworld in this show. I think that the whole Enclave reveal where they bring out, oh, this has been an experiment all along, and the people on the surface are just an experiment, and someone is watching you and monitoring you and taking notes to figure out how to use this experiment, use this information. It was very Westworld in a way that makes me a little bit nervous because they fumbled Westworld after a couple of seasons. So I hope that
Mhm.
they go in a unique enough direction and don't follow the same
I
poorly trodden path that they
yeah.
did previously.
I honestly believe this show, I don't think that we should see an end to the Enclave. I think that this should just be a large cell of the Enclave, but I think that they should still be around. Like, I don't want this to be like, oh, we took down the entire Enclave. I'd rather have that be the plot of a game, is taking
Yeah.
down the rest of the remnants or whatever. Like, I think maybe this could be like the most important. Like, this could be the last major holdout, but then like all the small ones still have like the boxes and stuff like that. Maybe I don't know.
Yeah, I think personally I wouldn't mind if they took the Enclave completely off the board. I think there's a few factions in the Fallout universe that I wouldn't mind the creators of this show taking out of commission. Like if the show ends and the Brotherhood is mostly destroyed, or if this show ends and the Enclave is almost completely destroyed, I don't mind that. I don't mind forcing, and this is all like Bethesda Game Studios has to give any okays on what can and can't happen with the greater story. Like the
Yeah.
creators of this show can't just destroy the Enclave and call it a day if Bethesda has plans to use the Enclave in their future games.
Hmm.
But I don't mind Bethesda having to invent some new people to throw at us and
Give
work a little
us,
bit.
hear me out. Give us a faction that's from a foreign nation that's like had bunkers that were nuclear safe. Give me China or Russia or fuck, give me some Canadian holdouts. I mean, there's options that they have where they could just totally write in that another country had vaults and maybe they have the capability to cross the ocean, or maybe a game takes place in one of those. Like any, there's a whole planet, and I totally get that. Like centering Fallout games in the U.S. is great, but there's definitely room for other plots across the world.
I think that as soon as season one found as much success as it did, Xbox probably told all of their studios, probably not just Bethesda, they probably enlisted some other people as well and said, we need a bunch of Fallout games. We need some spin offs. We need some things to get out to people, because at the end of the day, Xbox wants money from this property. That's why they agreed to this in the first place. And I think this is their ticket. Like, this is going to be a franchise that is going to make them so much money. Let's hope they don't ruin it with AI, because the Xbox did
Yep.
make an
I
announcement.
I wanted to talk about that actually while we're on this topic, because
Yeah.
I mean, like, we're not like creators here, like but we don't use AI obviously, because that's so cheap and lazy. And like, listen, there are uses for AI. I 100% believe that, but don't believe that I don't believe that we want an AI executive to also be the head of the games division at Xbox. Like, that sounds horrible to me.
Yeah, I really don't like it. And I don't like the fact that when Phil Spencer, the CEO of Xbox, came out and said, I'm retiring, the person, and I can't remember her
His
name,
I
I'm
don't
so
remember her
sorry.
name, but the woman that was going to like that was going to be like his successor is also out, I think, right?
Yeah, she's resigning as well, which tells me
Oh,
things aren't good. And that the direction that the company is going is one that people don't want to be there for. And that worries me.
dude, please don't. Like, if they go the
Luckily,
AI route, I think I'm never buying anything Microsoft related ever again.
yeah. And luckily, in a recent interview with Todd Howard, he's the big guy at Bethesda Game Studios. If you don't know that, if you're just a show only watcher, Todd Howard is like the czar of Fallout and
The
Elder Scrolls.
Kaiser.
He's the Kaiser of Fallout and Elder Scrolls. And he came out and said, AI, we look at it as a tool to help us, but we will never put anything AI generated in front of you. We support creative people creating real things, and we're not going to do that to you. So I trust him for as long as he can be in power over there. So
Yeah.
it's good.
I and like, I will say, while we're talking about AI, I do believe there are uses in video games, like in RPGs specifically, for
Yeah.
instance. But I think that, like, because like I saw someone talking about on Instagram, TikTok, whatever, something about like, it would be cool if we had AI like NPCs that we could actually have conversations with, like, you speak into the mic, they talk back. I think that's an interesting idea. It'd be cool for immersion in an RPG. But they have to, like, if the AI is impersonating someone's voice or doing someone's voice, that voice actor still deserves like, they need to make a living, obviously. And
Yeah.
if they're being puppeteered by AI, then they need to get something for that. Like, they can't just do that.
Yeah, I think there's an ethical way to go about a system like that. And I think that's a really cool idea and a good thing to bring into video games. Like, hire a voice actor and tell them, we need so many lines from you so that we can create a voice that's going to sound realistic. Like, we need you making these specific sounds, whatever. I don't know how it works. I'm the farthest from an AI expert.
Yeah.
But
Even though you programmed AI Richard.
yeah, I did program. Well, that was pretty easy to do, of course. But
Yeah, it just throws in random references from books, Devil May Cry and Resident Evil.
exactly, and you got AI Richard right in front of you. But I think that there's an ethical way to go about weaving AI into games to make them more immersive, as long as you're respecting creatives and people who are working in this industry. It's great. I don't want to see a future where people's voices are being stolen for the purpose of making games and making money, and you have voice actors who are now out of jobs because of it, or you have programmers who are now out of jobs, and you have studios who are throwing out basically AI generated slop code full of
Yeah,
bugs, and things are going wrong. I That's the future that I see with Xbox at the moment, and I hope that they prove me wrong.
I agree. I cannot believe that of all the two major companies, or I guess the three major companies, I cannot believe that Xbox is the one that is likely going to start with AI. Because,
I'm not
like,
surprised, honestly.
Sony and Nintendo, though.
Yeah, the one thing I will say about Sony, and we should probably get back to
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
the finale
We'll
after
conclude our
this,
rant.
but I think that Sony has a track record of supporting creative individuals with the games. Like, I think that a lot of studios
Yeah.
are able to execute their creative vision under the Sony banner and crank out some really awesome, unique games. So I'm not surprised that they haven't gone that route. I hope that this isn't a trend.
I suppose it's just like, I guess my thing about Sony is that I feel like they do a decent amount of like, maybe not shady shit, but like, I don't know. I feel like Sony's got some shit going on that, and like they underpay people. They definitely they've had some like
They've
fire.
had their
I don't even
scandals.
know. Yeah, they've had their things, is what I'm trying to say, I guess. So I feel like I was expecting them to go forward with that, or Nintendo, because let's be honest, they have not been creative on Pokemon in years.
They haven't been creative on very much, and they love to sue people. So I don't know. Lawsuits, generative AI, it all goes into the same into the same hat for me.
Yeah.
But let's get into the pre-war plot and talk about Barb and Coop. This really shocked me. I didn't think it was going to end like this. I didn't think that Coop would be going to jail. How did you feel about this resolution?
I I think that's interesting. I mean, I think he's gonna get out at some point.
For
Or not
sure.
think he's gonna get out. We know he's gonna get out because he did the birthday party. Season one. We know he's gonna get out, but it's gonna put some stress on their marriage clearly, because one of the people at that birthday party actually mentions that they think he's got to pay alimony, and that totally could be a mislead, because like, who actually knows about what's going on in his private life? Could just be
Yeah.
public scandal type shit. But I also, there's a reason he wasn't with her, and why he's still not with her at this point in the story.
Here's what I think about that. I think that because at the end of this episode, or at the end of this plot line in the episode, we do see Cooper telling her, I'm going to take the fall. You need to pretend like you know nothing. And I think that if they want to keep up the act, that this was a major betrayal and that Barb had nothing to do with it and that she shouldn't be punished or gone after in any way, shape, or form, them getting a divorce is a pretty good cover for the whole thing, and
Yeah,
especially if the two of them know in some way that the end of the world is on the horizon.
it's still on the table. Like, they're even if the president, Mr. Krabs, was a good dude, there's still no guarantee that he doesn't get assassinated and someone else takes the diode.
Right.
Like, it's still very much a possibility, and so I do agree that like it's good for her to be working at Vault Tech still.
Yeah, I think that A, Cooper wants to do the right thing, but I think that also up there in his list of priorities, of course, is the safety of his wife and his daughter, and Barb is their ticket to safety if the bombs go down or go off,
Yeah.
for sure. Um, so Barb and Coop have this little interaction where Barb says we should go to Bakersfield, get away for a little while, and Cooper suggests Colorado instead. I threw a message in the Discord because I knew we wouldn't be getting to this for a while, but I did give a little bit of info about what Colorado means to the Fallout universe. Originally, now this is kind of a deep cut, so they're
This
really
is Fallout Tactics, yes?
partially Fallout Tactics is in Colorado, but it goes even deeper than that because before
Oh,
Bethesda,
sorry, I remembered Van Buren, right? Van
yes,
Buren is the project. Let's go. I'm locked in.
that's it. So originally, before Bethesda got the rights to Fallout and were able to make Fallout 3, a company called Interplay and and their subsidiary Black Isle Studios, they were the folks in charge of Fallout. They were making Fallout 3, which was codenamed Van Buren. It was going to take place pretty much from Eastern California, like the capital of the NCR, and stretch all the way through Utah into Colorado. It was going to be, the map was going to be really big, but it's not as impressive as it sounds when you realize how those games, the first two, were set up. It's a little bit easier to pull that off with that style of game, but it was going to be in Colorado, and it was going to be the introduction to the Legion, and there was going to be a lot of stuff. And a lot of the ideas that didn't get used for Van Buren got recycled and turned into Fallout New Vegas because the people who worked on the original Fallout games, when Black Isle Studio and Interplay went belly up, they went and founded Obsidian Games, which is the company that made Fallout New Vegas. So that's why they brought in a lot of that stuff. But anyways, this is my long-winded way of saying season 3 is going to be in Colorado. It's going to have so many deep cuts to the unfinished Van Buren stuff. It's kind of Van Buren has taken on this urban myth and legend kind of status in the Fallout universe. Anyways, rant over.
Yeah, we do that a lot. We ramble.
Are you excited to see some of this stuff?
I'm excited to see if they continue the Vault Zero thing, because I think that was supposed to be in Van Buren. Obviously, once it
That one
got
actually
developed.
was in Tactics, but Tactics is not
Oh,
canon.
right. I'm getting my wires crossed.
There's too many wires, and none of them really make sense. So, and none of them are really important because at this point, they could go to Colorado and say absolutely none of the ideas that were in those early games or in the non-canon spin-offs, none of
Yeah,
those are going to exist. I think they're going to pull what works for the story and leave out what doesn't, and I think that's a good
yeah.
approach.
I've been having my own. I've been crossing my wires a lot with spin-offs being canon and non-canon because, yeah, like I said earlier, and like I've been yapping about relentlessly, Resident Evil. There's like 30 games in the Resident Evil series, but only like 12 are canon.
Mm.
And then like I'm not playing Resident Evil 1. I would like
Why
to.
not?
I'm not playing a game from 1996. I think is when it's from. It's got fixed camera angles. It's as janky as the first Devil May Cry. I'm not doing that shit because I
Yeah.
hated the first Devil May Cry, even though it's a love-hate relationship because it's cool. It's just so janky and old, but it's fun.
Yeah, I don't blame you for not playing those. By the way, don't play Fallout Tactics. Don't play Fallout
I'm
Brotherhood of
gonna
Steel.
I'm gonna play all of the
Uh,
Fallout games.
those two games are really they're not it. If you're gonna play an older Fallout game, play one or two. They're both pretty fun despite their age,
Hey,
which
I
shows.
I should kick your fucking ass.
I should kick your fucking ass. President of the United States, who the hell do you think I'm talking about?
Where is your power arm? You have that loaded onto the soundboard, right?
Not right now, but
Uh,
I think I've put it in a few times. Fallout 2 has some really great voice lines from the Enclave. That was where the Enclave was first introduced. So I'm
huh?
sure that
What?
Fallout I'm sure that Fallout Season 3 is going to have a lot of Fallout Season 2 Enclave references in it, along with the Colorado stuff. But
Yeah.
this creepy phone call that Coop gets from House when he's in the airport, I like how all of the phones start ringing and everyone in their little 1950s style airport with their fedoras and their cigarettes and their three-piece suits just kind of looks at the phone sideways. Like no one really reacts that much or goes to pick up the phone. And somehow Cooper goes and does that and no one cares. I thought this was it was creepy for sure.
It was creepy and it was very like I guess the best way to put it is like video gamey.
Yeah.
Like, the phone's ringing and it won't stop ringing until you pick it up, regardless of anything else. Which it should feel like a video game. I mean, it's the Fallout show.
Yeah, we already talked about Coop giving or taking the fall for cold fusion, but we do get one final detail, which is that Cooper is a better wingman than he intended to be, and Stephanie and Hank they eloped when they were in Vegas, which is of course a very Vegas thing to do. And oh boy, this relationship is
And
interesting.
it's interesting to me though that so we don't know how long this is like until the bombs drop. I don't think we have a date. Maybe we
No.
did, but I don't know. It's certainly we've got some time, but why the fuck did he tell Steph about the Enclave shit? Like about his Pit Boy in that box. He should not have done that. That's insane.
I think that Hank at the time of the bombs dropping is very, very different from the Hank that we see in this
True.
season. I think
True.
that
I mean, like,
he did a
he
lot of growing up in between when he got thawed out and when we see him.
yeah, I mean that Hank hasn't bombed an entire city of 40,000 people.
You don't
So
know
like,
that.
all right, I don't know that. Honestly, Hank could have dropped the bombs himself. I doubt it.
But any final thoughts on this whole pre-war plot line before we take a quick break and then move into Lucy and Hank?
I know I've talked about this before with you off mic, but I'd like to put this out on the airwaves. I'm really hoping that Coop finds his family this season and that we can be, and it's not because I don't like it, but if we finish up the flashbacks to pre war, like him getting Janie to the vault and whatever like leads up to that point in the story, I would love to see if the next however many seasons after, we just see Cooper in the early days of the apocalypse becoming the ghoul. Like, you know, or at least like snippets of the 200 years that he's been doing this because there's so much cool stuff that I'm sure he's done.
Oh yeah, for sure. They could make a whole spin-off show about his adventures in the wasteland, I'm sure. So,
Yeah.
but do you think like eventually the pre-war plot line, all of that, are you saying like it's going to catch up to where we are now? Like we're going to see eventual or some gradual things, or is it going to just take us into him becoming a ghoul and then
Uh,
we're going to figure it out from there?
well, like, so the way that they do their flashbacks, we've talked about it in this episode actually a lot. Like, it's really well done with like the whole side by side kind of things, how it like the past mirrors the present
Yeah.
with him. I would love to see like the flashbacks of him getting Janie to the vault, getting Janie to Barb, and then I'm assuming he's probably too irradiated to go into the vault at this point, or he just can't get in because he's not on the list. Whatever, a few different ways they can go with that. But I would love to see him getting her to the vault, getting her to safety, leading up to him getting them both out of the Colorado like vault if they're in like cryopods or whatever. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah. And
that would be a cool way to do it.
I think so. And I think that he does need to find his family next season. I think that the Cooper finding his family plot line is in a similar place to the Diode where we need to see some resolution and move on with it
Yeah.
for sure.
Because then, like, if they're around, if the family's around, then we get more information on the Enclave through Barb. We also get to see what the hell, like, how he's going to be received by Barb and Janie, which I think will be interesting since he's super disgusting compared to what he used to look like. Granted, people still thirst over the ghoul, so
They do. And you know what? I don't think that they're right for that. He's a a corpse, a walking corpse.
yeah, still would
So,
though.
yeah.
Honestly,
Oh, yeah, he's just that charismatic, I guess.
dude, he
But
really like Walton Goggins got the flow.
he does. While we're talking about people who have the flow, we need to talk about. We've already gushed about the hair and the makeup and the all of this season. Barb, the way that they always have her hair done up in the like 1950s style, they the hair and makeup department in this show are just so good at the period specific like 50s 60s looks.
Yeah,
And Frances Turner as Barb, they really
she
everything
ate.
about her is perfect. Yeah, exactly. She ate it up. She ate it
and
up.
and this is a side tangent, not even a tangent. I'm gonna take like 30 seconds and be done. While we're talking about 50s hair and makeup department style stuff like that, I just want to bring that up because I know we watched it and I really liked this part. Pennywise in Welcome to Derry had like the 50s style curls, and I think that was great. I really hope we see that continue on like in each season. Like, all right, give him a 20s style haircut, give him or a 30s style haircut, then give him a early 1900s style haircut. Like that'd be cool.
Yeah. Welcome to Derry was awesome. You should all watch it and you should all listen to the Lorehounds coverage of Welcome to Derry because that was also equally awesome.
Great
Um,
show.
but any final thoughts on our friends Barb and Coop and Janie, our close personal friends?
Close friends. No, no other thoughts on our close friends until after the ad break.
Cool. All right. So let's take a quick break and then we will be back to talk about Lucy and Hank. And we are back to talk about Lucy and Hank. Richard, was Lucy doing the right thing, putting
Yes.
Congresswoman Welsh out of her
Yes.
misery?
That that like state that she was in, like that's a nightmare for me. Being a decapitated head or disembodied head is just not on my list of things I ever would want happening. Especially then if I was being used to take the will away from however many people he had hooked up down there. I mean, probably what 50 people, we'll say.
Yeah.
If I was doing that on top of being a disembodied head after 200 years, and all I tried to do in my normal life when I had a body was do the right thing, like that's horrifying.
It is. I'm with you. I think that Lucy was absolutely doing the right thing by putting her down. I think that if anything, if she had left her there, I would have really judged Lucy and thought less of her as a character if she had
Yeah,
left Welch there.
because I understand like not wanting to kill someone, but that woman was in misery. That's not life.
I do like Lucy's line where she's like, everyone just wants me to kill them all the time. What's going
Yep.
on?
Because it happened. I mean, I guess it didn't happen with Wilzig because he took the pill, which kind of a nice guy for that. But then he
Yeah.
had her cut his head off. So,
Yeah. Poor Wilzig. Poor guy.
and this is while she's still grappling with killing that guy that robbed the store naked. Plenty of people do it.
Plenty of people rob stores naked. Happens to me every week almost.
Really?
Yeah, you don't do
Do
that.
you are you the naked person or are you the shopkeep or the shop owner?
Well, it depends. If I sometimes I'm the shopkeeper, sometimes I'm the naked person. It's kind of a cycle because you go into a shop naked, you rob it, and you take the person's clothes, and then you have clothes, and then some other naked person comes and robs you when the store is yours. So it's really just this never-ending cycle. It's kind of like, generational trauma in a way.
Yeah. Sometimes you're the hammer, sometimes you're the nail. A day to remember said that.
Well, Richard, what do you think about miniaturization? Is it really the wave of the future?
It is. I mean, damn, those little boxes. No one, you're not going to be able to tell when people have a box in their fucking skull. That's
You
so
never know.
great.
I'm worried about that next season. I wonder if we're gonna have a whole plot line of like you don't know who to trust. Anyone could be an enclave spy because anyone could have
Yes.
one of those in
But
his neck.
see, that, and I'm going to circle back. That's why I don't want the Enclave to be completely done after this, because I would love to have that that element of you don't know if they have a box in their neck brought into the Fallout games. That'd be a cool thing. But at the same time, if they got rid of the Enclave after this, I wouldn't like it. It just depends, I guess, on how they want to do it.
Yeah, I think they did kind of tread that ground a little bit in the games with Fallout 4 with the synths where you never knew who was a synthetic person and was a spy for the Institute or who was real. But they pulled it
Yeah,
off pretty poorly in that game. I really love Fallout 4. Don't come for me. I know some people don't like it very much. I think that it's a decent and fun game. But I don't think that they executed a lot of the story elements well, and I think that there were no real stakes in a lot of the things that they wanted to have stakes. And I think that the whole
yeah,
anyone could be a spy, anyone could be a fake person, and you'll never know it unless you kill them and rip the component out of their head yourself.
yeah. Or
I don't
like,
know.
give me a side quest where I have to help someone do something, and then it turns out they were a synth the whole time, and like I'm helping them do some evil shit. Like that would have even improved the feeling of it more if it was like a person that you get the quest from as soon as you enter like Diamond City. Then you have like, you don't have to do it, but if you do it, then you have that sense of, oh my god, this, I don't know.
Yeah, no, I think so for sure. And yeah, I think that the show is much better than the games at making choices and decisions meaningful. The characters, everything they're doing is having an impact on the world aside from the diode, which hasn't done anything for anyone. Um, everything that these people are doing, you feel the shockwaves of it. When the Brotherhood enters that civil war, you know that that's going to cause problems. When Cooper gives the diode to House, presumably that's going to go somewhere, I hope, eventually. But yeah, everything should have an effect. And I think that we're seeing it with some of these plot lines.
Yeah.
Um, the ghoul rolls up and shoots Hank right in the ass and jingles his ass away.
Dude, does he have spurs that go
That go jingle, jangle, jingle.
jingle jangle?
I think he does, and I think that he goes riding merrily along after he shoots Hank in the ass.
Question, actually.
Yeah.
If he had to pass the ammunition,
Would he
would he
praise the
be?
Lord?
Yeah, do you think he would?
I think he would. I think he would praise the Lord and pass the ammunition.
All
Um,
right, that's good to know.
I really liked this was some great character development for the ghoul. Again, showing that he has grown a lot as a character. He's able to incapacitate Hank and give Lucy the choice of what to do. And I think that not only shows a lot of character development for him, but I think it shows that he really respects and cares about Lucy in a way that's not just superficial. He didn't just use her to get his family back. He cares about her. They grew pretty close over the course of this season traveling together. And he
Yeah,
doesn't want anything bad to happen to her. If it has to happen so that he can find his family, I don't think that that's the most crazy thing in the world for him to decide to do. Even if he was the best person ever, your family that you've been searching for 200 years, or some random person that you have known for, I don't know, 2 months, it's a pretty easy choice for me,
yeah. Plus,
personally.
like, let's not forget he drank like a whole bottle of whiskey, and he's always on some drugs. Like, yes, there's the ghoul, like anti-ghoul shit that he huffs, but we also like he's on a lot of chems.
He is.
So it's not crazy to think that that had some effect combined with the whiskey and the 200 years without his family and like everything together. I don't blame him for making that choice, but I'm glad that he didn't kill Hank. I'm glad that he is showing that he cares. I really thought he was going to just shoot Hank and we weren't going to get any answers out of Hank. And
Yeah.
instead, we got a really good way of getting some answers out of Hank before he did the thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love that little, like, mini one-shot pistol that he slides over to Lucy. That was
Oh,
just
the Derringer.
yes, yes. Thank you. I did not know the name of it, but I thought that was
You,
pretty cool.
you know who else used a Derringer? Little
So,
history fact for you folks. John Wilkes Booth, unfortunately, but it was used at least.
yeah, I did not know that. That's an interesting
Yeah,
historical fact.
I think that's what he used to do.
The
What he used to kill
assassination.
us at. Yeah, what he used to assassinate Abe Lincoln, or maybe he just had it on him. It was at the museum. I saw it way back in the day. I don't remember, unfortunately.
Listen, folks, Radioactive Ramblings will be transitioning into historical ramblings starting next week. You can catch us every single day talking about a different U.S. president.
Let's start with fuck. The President of the United States. Who the fuck do you think I'm talking about? That guy. Kimball?
President,
Was that?
yeah. Um, Aaron Kimball was the president of the NCR in.
Oh, whatever. It's the same thing. It's all the same. I
I'm
mean,
surprised you knew Kimball though.
they're well, we talked about the MCR, like not the MCR, my bad.
The
Muscle memory.
Minnesota, California Republic. Fuck, it doesn't work.
That's
Damn
not
it.
what I was talking about. You know what MCR is?
My
My
Chemical
Chemical
Romance.
Romance.
It took me a minute to get there, but I got it. I got it. It
Yep.
took me, yeah.
I don't even know
Um,
what I'm yapping about. Holy shit.
so Hank gives us a lot of revelations when Lucy is pointing the Derringer at him and has chipped him and sends him out onto the strip. Do you think there was any point when Lucy and Hank were leaving the Lucky 38 that the two of them were like, oh shit, there might be death claws out there? Or do you think they knew that there weren't any death claws out there anymore?
I think because the ghoul just kind of strode in like that, I think Lucy assumed that it was taken care of because
True.
she might be mad at the ghoul, but she knows he don't fuck around.
That's very true. When he shows up somewhere, bodies are hitting the floor left and right, and he's a one-man menace, that guy.
Dude, as he says in his first appearance as the ghoul, he does this shit for the love of the game. That is one of my favorite lines from the ghoul.
And he's pretty fucking good at playing the game.
I think he might be the best at the game.
Yeah. I want to go back because you made me think of something when you were talking about the ghoul drinking and doing drugs.
Did you
As
think of me on a Saturday night? What?
as of the lore in Fallout 76, it is canonical, I think, that alcohol and drugs help ghouls not go feral. That is one of the methods that you can use to keep your feral meter from going
Oh yeah,
down.
because you're a ghoul. I forgot that your Fallout character is a ghoul.
Yeah, and it's pretty cool. I like that system.
It's
Anyways,
pretty cool.
it's pretty cool. Let's talk about these revelations that Hank brings up. First of all, the Enclave is watching everything, and the vaults have never been the experiment. The surface is the grand experiment of the apocalypse. What does that mean?
See, I don't know. We don't have enough, but I think. Fuck. I don't even know because I've been thinking about this for not like only thinking about this, but it's been in the back of my mind for a few weeks now, and I really just can't. I don't know because there's so much they could be thinking
Yeah.
of what the like of plotting. I mean, maybe they just want to turn the whole like they want to have the whole planet only the Enclave. I guess.
Yeah. I will say minor spoilers for what the Enclave was planning in Fallout 2. I will say that what they were planning to do in Fallout 2 and Fallout 3, whatever, wherever this lore comes from, is probably not where they're going to go with this in in the show. But in the games, the Enclave's plan was to use data from the vaults and like gather it all up and figure out the best way to move forward with humanity. And they were going to use all of the data from the experiments to just hop in some rocket ships and colonize a different planet and leave Earth behind and start again somewhere else with all of apparently the recipe for humanity's success, which they were supposed to get from all of the data.
Interesting.
The Enclave's goals have changed from time to time. There are some parts of the Enclave that instead want to kill every living thing on the surface and repopulate the Earth after. And I think that Hank kind of falls more into that category than the colonizing space category. And I think
I'm
that if they're going to do it, they're going to go for the start again route on Earth.
Yeah, that seems easier to do for a show, anyways.
I think it
Like,
would be kind of stupid if they go the colonizing space route. I don't think that that's never really worked for me as as a detail that the Enclave wanted to do. It always kind of felt hollow and like who really gives a fuck? Who cares? I don't
yeah,
know.
like
Personally.
at that point, they didn't have to destroy the world. They just had to get in the rocket and fuck off.
Yeah, but then they wouldn't have the the social experiments in the vaults and apparently the surface to do something for them. I don't know.
Yeah. um, what else we got about Lucy and Hank? Their last little meeting. What do we think is going to happen with Hank moving forward?
I really hope we don't see him again. I don't want to see Hank as a mindless drone off in the corner. I think that he has outlived his usefulness to the story at this point. I think that this is a great time for the wonderful Kyle MacLachlan to exit stage left.
Interesting.
What do you think?
I I somewhat agree with you in terms of like he's outlived his character's purpose because his character is essentially dead. I mean, Hank McLean is dead from what we understand of this technology. So like there's not a use for him in that capacity. I'm wondering if well no, he can't really go back to the vault because the vault they're probably getting turned into super mutants or some shit like the normal vault
Oh yeah,
dwellers.
absolutely.
So that's not really an option. And even like with Norm's subplot, there's not really much for him to do because he's not. Hmm, I don't know. I'm a little worried about what would happen if they keep him in the show, but at the same time, like writing him out would be kind of a hard thing to do too. Maybe unless they just send him to the wasteland to go live.
Yeah, because he's got to be somewhere. Uh, Presumably, Vegas is boxed in. They're going to be surrounded by the Legion. No one is really going to get in or out of this place. It's going to be full on siege mode.
Well,
And
Ascension.
yeah, exactly. And I don't think that Hank can really go anywhere. So maybe he will show up. But can we just talk about what a fucking monster? He was willing to turn his daughter into basically a mindless drone. And he knows that his little characters, his little Sims, are just mindless drones to be controlled. He was willing to do that to his own daughter.
Yeah, Hank has always been like I shouldn't say always. Once we found out about like what's up with Hank, he's been such just like a horrible person. And I don't understand if he believes does he believe that he's a good father to Lucy or like does he believe that he actually loves her? Because if you do love someone, you cannot wipe their memory completely. I'm sorry. That's just like a normal thing that I feel like we should understand at
I
our
th-
big age.
I think that Hank is one of those people who doesn't see any fault in what he's done ever in his life. I think that in his mind it's always been the means are justifying the ends, and in this case the end is having his daughter like him.
Wait, the ends justify the means, you mean? The means do not justify the
Oh,
ends.
you're right. You're right. The ends justify the means. Thank
Yeah,
you.
yeah, yeah.
Getting a little tongue twisted. Yeah, the ends justify the means, and in this case, I think it really does play into that. And I mean, I really wanted to believe that harming Lucy or erasing her memory was a moral line that Hank would draw. I wanted to believe that at some point he would look at himself and say, "This is a bridge too far. This is the farthest I can really take myself." But then you
Yeah.
remember he literally nuked his wife.
And 39,999 other people.
Yeah, I mean, he just I
I-
wouldn't trust him to make the right choice ever.
I'd be interested to see if you know what there is one plot line that at least would be somewhat all right. They got to hand him over to the NCR, right? Say, hey, his
Yeah.
mind's been wiped, but this is the fucking guy that bombed Shady Sands. Blah blah blah. Do with him what
Oh,
you will. That like I could see that being somewhat acceptable as like a way to
yeah.
write him out too. Because not that I would want to write him off. I like Kyle MacLachlan. I love seeing his TikToks. He's funny as hell.
Yeah. I need to issue an apology to you, Richard, because I think you were right about something that you brought
Oh,
up earlier in the season that I kind of thought was wrong. And I think that and now after watching this episode, I think you're right. There was a moment a few episodes ago where um, NCR Ranger Greg from the White Lotus when he was serving Lucy and Hank, and he is reminded about the NCR, and he kind of like gives a blank stare for a minute. And I thought that that was just him not really caring about what was going on. And you
Mm-hmm.
said that you thought that he was kind of shutting down because of he was reminded of something from his past. I think you were right, and I'll tell you why I think you were right.
Okay.
In this moment when Lucy and Hank are talking to each other after he's wiped his own mind, he sort of shuts down when he sees his daughter crying. And so I think
Yes.
that
Yes.
that kind of like big emotional stimulus can make you shut down. I think that being reminded of the military outfit that you were and the country that you served for 30 or 20 years in exile, that's a pretty big emotional stimulus to make you shut down. And I think that seeing your daughter cry is also probably a big enough emotional stimulus to make you shut down.
Yeah. I fully agree. See, that's like something that's just been I kind of headcanon that completely to myself. So like now I've been just thinking that's how it works. So I didn't even like think of it in that way when I saw that scene, but I'm glad that you brought that up because like yeah, I didn't even think about talking about that too much. But I'm glad you brought that up. Fucking
You win the
and I'm
internet points
and I'm
here.
right. And I'm right. So
Well, it's not confirmed, but I do think that
I'm
you're
no no
right.
no no
I
no
do
no
think
no.
you're right.
I'm right. It's all right. You can admit it.
So I I don't have much more to say about Hank and Lucy. I I like your idea that maybe we could get a little NCR trial against him next season for the destruction of Shady Sands. Any final thoughts before we talk about what's happening in the vault?
um Nah, not that I can think of. I might have like an epiphany in 10 minutes, but that's
You
what it
well,
is, you know?
you're always welcome to share your epiphanies with the class.
Oh, wonderful. I love sharing with the class. That's why I dropped out of school.
Let's talk about these vault dwellers a little bit. We find Stephanie locked away in the overseer's office. She's pretty fucked here, I must say.
Yeah, because she's Canadian.
She's Canadian, and that's the biggest sin of all.
I could understand being alive for 200 years. I could understand being a murderer. Canadian, though?
I draw
Ugh,
the line at Canadian.
me too.
To all of our Canadian listeners out there, we love you. Don't lock yourself in a
Why?
vault.
Why are you lying? I'm
Yeah,
Folks, I'm
Rich.
kidding. I'm kidding. I am not patriotic at all these days.
Yeah, we love you in over there in Canada. Please take us in. We're afraid.
I've I've seen some of the best concerts of my life in Canada too. So, and I will be seeing one April 26th. Let's go.
Love Ontario. Great city.
Toronto is the city.
Uh, I
Silly
love I
goose.
love Toronto. Great city. I didn't say that other thing before.
Toronto's great, dude. We're trying to go for like the whole day. This is turning into a different conversation.
So we finally get the reveal of what was in Hank's box. Wasn't expecting a Pip Boy. That was kind of an interesting reveal, but it makes sense.
I was expecting low key like a dose of the FEV or
Oh.
something related to FEV, which I guess an Enclave Pit Boy is related, but you know what I mean, like actually related.
Yeah. This whole situation escalated really fast. You got the guy who screams death to management. I was like, damn, we're at the point of like stringing her up.
Like
This is pretty
like
dark.
class conscious rebellion.
Yeah, the Vault Dwellers have had their populist uprising pretty quickly. I don't think that they're going to do too well without Vault 33 management or Vault 31 management. And I hate to say that they aren't going to do well without a secret overlord like controlling them, but I think they're all kind of stupid and I don't think that they can really rule themselves. I'll be
I
honest.
I think Davy for overseer.
I think that Chet might be the best candidate.
I think he'll have the support of everyone because he's the one who like figured all of this out. I don't like that idea of him being the fucking overseer or like the replacement overseer.
I don't think anyone is going to be the overseer. I think that they're all fucked
I
royally.
think Betty's gonna need to step in, and I think that because of everything she's been through this season, she might actually take another get another turn for the better, straying from like the vault tech bullshit and
Yeah.
kind of using, like we said the other day, the last episode, like she's been a completely different person for 20 something years, is what she said to Steph, and like that, I'm hoping really changes her character in the next season.
I like Betty a lot. I think that she is firmly on the side of being a good person. I think that she is going to be the good element in whatever happens in the vault next season.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's gonna be fucking great.
Chet looked really happy when that angry mob was banging on Stephanie's door. He looked so pleased with himself.
Yeah, what's gonna happen with Chet Jr. though? That's something that I'm considering, like especially if they all get dosed with FEV.
Well, Chet Jr. is half Canadian, so I think that he's just as guilty as Stephanie, you know?
You know what? I've heard enough. Kill him.
Yeah, get rid of him. He's done. So if Stephanie is really going to start pumping FEV into the vault with phase two, when she calls the Enclave and tells them initiate phase two, they listen. They initiate phase two. They're going to, what we think is happening is that they're going to turn everyone into super mutants, aka super managers. um, this is just, would she really do that to her own child? I think the answer is yes. She didn't really seem to care about that kid, if we're being honest.
She didn't have a name for him.
Yeah, I think the
They called him
only.
Chet Jr. because Chet didn't want to name him Chet Jr.
Yeah,
because
exactly.
that's what people in the vault just called him.
Stephanie did not see a love interest in Chet. She saw a built-in babysitter.
Yeah, and for a baby, she didn't care about. I mean, she was very good at just latching on to someone and manipulating them. I mean, we obviously don't know about her stuff with Bert or really her life with Hank, but we can assume like she definitely was able to draw out from Hank all the stuff about the Enclave. Like that's not I doubt it's something that he just told her without her doing some manipulative stuff. And I hope we see that. I'd be interested to see that at least next season.
Yeah. I very much get the impression that Stephanie is the kind of person that she is either in control of the situation or she is working towards being in control of the situation. There is no coast along and live your life happily. It is, I am at the helm. Everything that's happening is going to be because I want it to happen, or I'm going to blow the whole world up trying to make that happen.
Yeah. She's turned into a great character this season.
She has. I didn't think that we would see this much of her and see her develop so much as a character. I wonder, this is a thought that I have throughout pretty much any season of, or any television show that gets more than one season, is how much of this plot was originally intended and how much of it was like thought out while they were writing the season two script. Uh,
Yeah,
so
you get to see that effect kind of in like Stranger Things because they
yeah,
didn't have they originally were going to do like season by season anthology horror was the plan.
yeah,
And then it got so big and then it turned into what it did. And because they didn't have a plan for later seasons and they didn't continue to think, hey, we're going to need another season after this, and then after this one, and then after this one, I feel like that's a show that suffered from not being guaranteed to have more and more seasons. Whereas this, now that we're at the point of like, we've got multiple season confirmations
hmm
after this, because I think they said 5 is what they're thinking.
yeah. I think they've already confirmed 4 or 5 seasons, and that to me does scream that they have a general plan for what they
Like
want to
a
do.
logical endpoint.
Yeah, and I do think that the whole Enclave thing, that's going to be, season three is going to be setting up the Enclave as the villain for whatever the eventual finale of the whole series is. So I'm interested. I I hope that they do something cool with it. Um, should we move
Yeah.
on to some like
Our
smaller?
miscellaneous plot
Yeah,
stuff.
one of the bigger ones that I wanted to talk about, but I didn't want to devote a whole long section to, was the whole Norm and the Vault 31 Dweller plotline. This was one that
Yeah.
kind of fell flat for me this season. It was whatever.
I it, I was interested in it up until this episode.
Yeah,
I think if Ronnie, like the guy who was trying to string up Norm and everything, if he had survived, him, Claudia, and Norm being the three survivors would have been interesting because then they'd have like there'd be a more interesting dynamic than just it's Claudia and Norm who like they're buddy buddy.
yeah,
Or even if Ronnie was the only survivor, that would have been cool.
yeah.
This like Claudia doesn't know anything about the overarching plot with the enclave, with the plot, like the plan. So that kind of for me is like, okay, she's just there now. Like,
Yeah.
I'm glad she didn't get fucking mutilated by a rad roach, I guess. But like,
She should have. She should. I'm also not upset that she survived. I'm glad that Claudia is still around. I think that it doesn't make much sense that she survived. I think if they were going to make her survive, have her be outside the room with Norm. She doesn't need to be in there and survive the rad roach thing. Eh, Were
yeah,
all of those rad roaches killed? Were they like? I know the one on top of Claudia had a screwdriver shoved into its head, but
yeah, it just doesn't make sense to me that they managed to all trade with their rad roaches except for her. You know?
yeah, it felt a little too convenient. I don't know. I don't want to spend too much time talking about it because it really was kind of a nothing burger of a plot line this season. The only thing it accomplished was setting up what FEV is
For
for
people
the
who don't
audience,
already know, yeah,
and also getting Norm out of the vault and having
which
him
that's
join the
good.
story. Yeah, for sure. I think that by the end of next season, Norm will definitely reunite with Lucy. That might be the only thing that I am interested in having Hank around for, is when Norm eventually meets up with Lucy. It would be interesting to see him be like, "Oh shit! Like, what
I'd like
happened
him.
here?"
Well, that's the thing. Is Lucy going to be like the? Is Lucy going to be this big sister that shelters him from the truth of what their father did, or is she going to tell him? Like, I don't think. I think she would tell him, but there's always that element of maybe she doesn't.
Yeah, I think that she would tell him. I think that there's so much that she knows about their life story and their family that he just doesn't at this point. He doesn't know anything about their father. He doesn't know that he grew up for a while living in Shady Sands. He doesn't
He
know that
doesn't know
Hank
that
killed
their
their mother,
mom,
or not killed
no,
her,
he
but
but
turned her into a
ghoulified her.
ghoul. Yeah,
Yeah,
basically killed her, and Lucy just put her out of her misery.
yeah.
But yeah,
I'm still thinking she won't tell him immediately because she's gonna want him to like obviously adjust to wasteland life for a minute, maybe. But you never know.
yeah,
That'll be interesting though. What else we got for these? Because we already talked about like the enclave stuff. We talked about
yeah.
house. We talked about the diode.
I think we already touched on the ghoul and his family. I guess we can talk a little bit about how he like rolls up to their pods and they're empty. Okay, I did rewatch this episode today, and I thought it really made me laugh when the pods open and all of the thawing out stuff is happening, special effects, the smoke.
Like the mist and everything. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and then it pans over to Cooper and it plays really dramatic music. And then
Yeah.
it cuts to the pod and it's empty and the dramatic
Well,
music
like
stops. It was really funny.
it's a good
Okay.
way to like subvert your expectations, though. You know, like I think that made that moment better.
Yeah. I I'm glad that this happened. I'm glad that Cooper got a little bit of resolution. He can find his family. I thought they were going to be dead in there. I'm glad that they're alive somewhere though.
Yeah, I was worried. I think I said this too when we were watching it. I was worried Janie was going to be dead
Oh,
and Barb was gonna thaw, and then they were gonna have to, they were gonna have to like have a whole grief arc over their kid, and I thought it was gonna be some sad shit. And
yeah,
thankfully, we didn't get that. I I don't want that to happen. I'm glad that he's hopeful and that like that I think was his last line is that like, oh, I finally have a lead or I finally have hope on where to find them, like something like that. And that's great.
definitely. I also wanted to talk about Macaulay Culkin becoming the new Kaisar.
Yeah,
He,
I liked I liked that they just sort of set him up this season.
yeah,
I just wish there was more screen time with him, obviously.
yeah, I think that he'll be a good villain next season. I thought it was pretty funny when he ate the paper.
Yeah,
I
like you're in a war zone, dude. There's fire everywhere.
There's fire everywhere. Also, no one's gonna come in and question like, "Hey, where's the piece of paper? What'd you do with it?" He's just gonna waltz out with the
Yeah.
crown on and say, "I'm the new Kaiser. Y'all can suck it," and
I
everyone's gonna believe him.
I hope we do get like another legate that takes his place and starts to question it. I would love a conniving eunuch. Give me a conniving eunuch
Give
right
us
now.
Varys, yeah.
Varys.
From Game of Thrones, he was a conniving eunuch.
Oh. Or deep pull. What about Blue Fingers?
Blue Fingers. Oh man, I like Blue Fingers. He was a good guy.
He was not a good guy. He was a conniving eunuch. Shit.
All of you should read Warbreaker from
Yes, it's
Brandon Sanderson.
probably Brandon Sanderson's best standalone book besides maybe no, it's not. It's not even close. It's Isles of the Emberdark.
Well, I'll give you my
My
opinion
bad.
on that at some point in the near future. But
3 years before you read it,
yeah,
guaranteed.
three. um, I, there was a joke that I really enjoyed, and I don't know if you clocked it, but Macaulay Culkin, I forget his character's name, but he
Legate Lacerta.
Leggett Lacerta, thank you.
Well, I
He
guess Kaiser.
I guess he's just Kaiser now. Yeah, Kaiser gets up and he's like, "We are going to go to the Holy Land that they call Vegas, and we will build a mighty palace for the Empire,
Yeah,
Kaiser's
yeah,
palace."
yeah, yeah. I thought that's what because that's like a hotel chain, right?
I think it's like just one like famous hotel and casino in Vegas. I don't know. It might be
Oh,
a
okay.
chain,
I'm
but
gonna.
Google
Where's
it
my
while we're talking
phone?
about it.
Yeah.
But that really cracked me up when they talk when he said we're gonna go and build Caesar's palace. I hope that they show up and they like set up in Caesar's palace. They probably can't because of some legal stuff, but if they can work out a deal to use
Oh
that,
yeah.
it would be funny.
Luxury hotel and casino in Paradise, Nevada. Yep.
Yeah.
And it's
So
on the west side of the strip. Wait, they could totally find a Caesar's Palace or the Caesars. They could totally find it, dude, and go there.
yeah, that would be pretty funny. I hope that they keep that gag going. It would be a good long running joke
Oh,
for them to do, I think.
270 a night is crazy.
Damn.
Sorry, I'm not looking to book travel arrangements, but like it popped up on my phone. All right,
Should we
phone's
celebrate
gone.
wrapping the season by taking a trip to Vegas?
No, we should just go to Vegas to gamble. What?
We can gamble away all of our hard-earned cash.
Yes. I see. I like this. I like this idea.
Exactly.
Yes.
Well, did you have any loose plot threads that we didn't talk about that you think we should talk
I, I,
about?
I think I think we covered everything. I mean, this has been, we didn't say it was going to be a short one, and it's definitely not. We are at an hour and a half, and we still got runtime left.
Yeah. So let's get right into our
How,
our. Should we even talk? I feel like we weaved our
I think
theories
we've
into it.
covered enough theories. So unfortunately, as you guys will be able to tell, there's no chase here. Scheduling is just rough. It's really rough. He's 4 time zones, 4 hours behind us. And now Aaron and I are like on a synced up schedule finally, and now he's out of the loop, which is kind of the opposite of what was happening like last year and the year before.
Yeah.
So it's tricky, but we're gonna figure it out hopefully soon.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'd be cool if we could get Chase on just for like a small, or even if you and Chase just wanted to do like a small episode, if he's got any theories that differ from what we've got or anything, pick his brain.
Yeah, for sure. I might do a separate season wrap with Chase just to talk about um, the season as a whole, and we won't go super in depth, but just to get
Yeah.
his thoughts on everything. So we'll see if we can set that up with him, and hopefully we can get his thoughts on Fallout because we miss you, Chase. Come home, come home.
Yeah. I want to know what theories he's got for next season.
Yeah. So without further ado, what did you think about the end of this? Why don't you give
Like,
your thoughts first?
you want the episode or the season as a whole?
I guess either one, both,
All
all
right.
of it.
So I'll go the episode and then the season. I guess that makes the most sense. So for the episode, I got to give it, I'm not giving it a 10 because, like, there were a few tiny things here and there, and a 10 is perfect, but I'm going to give it like a crisp 9.5. I mean, this episode was fantastic. They tied everything up together pretty well while obviously giving us like branches to next season, uh, which we just release it tomorrow, please. I need the next season right fucking now.
It's going to
It's
be a quick turnaround, I will say, because
I know
they've
they've already
already.
started production like last Tuesday, I think it was.
Yeah.
So we're chilling. But I think that this episode really succeeded. I mean, it wrapped up, not wrapped up, but it gave us great character moments for pretty much the entire main cast. I mean, Maximus, we talked about his stand. The last son of Shady Sands. Armor broke before his will did. Great peak. The edits. TikTok's amazing right now. The ghoul, obviously, he had his development moments and like he met back up with House. He saved Lucy. We had Lucy and her father. Like that dynamic was great. So much of this episode was fantastic. And I'm excited for next season. Season as a whole, I'm giving it a 9 because holy fuck. What a
I couldn't have
season.
said it better myself. Couldn't have said
I,
it better. But
I,
I'll
I
try.
think, yeah, I think the earlier episodes not even really dragged, but like the first 3 episodes compared to everything after, it's just it's hit after hit after hit after hit for that second half of the season. I mean, I this is one of those shows. It was like how Peacemaker was, like and how Welcome to Derry was. Shit, I could not wait for every episode to drop. It was just amazing.
Yeah. This one had me on the edge of my seat. I was looking forward to it every week. But let's be honest, even if this show was terrible, I would probably be looking forward to the episodes every week. Um, but yeah,
Yeah,
I really did think this was an entertaining season. It had a lot to love, but I do think it was basically a transition season. I think that they were doing a lot of setup work for the rest of the show, and I don't think that that's a bad thing. I think that they did a really good job at setting up everything that's going to be coming in the next 2 or 3 seasons of Fallout. And at some points, it almost did feel like this show felt like they didn't think they were going to get a season 2. I think that they thought this was going to be another video game adaptation flop. So I don't know if they kind of were trying to play catch up and get a broader overarching story together so that they could make things move forward a little bit and have a story that's going to span 5 seasons. But I think they did it really well. I think that they executed everything fairly well. It felt a little bit cute and clumsy at times with like the Norm plot and a few other things, but no show is perfect. Every show has their like couple of stinkers that don't really live up to expectations. And I wouldn't even classify those as stinkers. I would say that they're more just weaker points in a series that's overall really good. And I think that what they do well in this show, they do it really well. The standouts for me were Max's development into a true hero, like Richard said, last son of Shady Sands. He's pretty awesome. And he's someone who doesn't need the Brotherhood anymore to define him. He's a person in his own right. And I think Lucy's relationship with the ghoul was another really strong point in this season. Seeing those two characters influence each other, seeing Lucy influence Maximus, Maximus inspiring the people around him, it all just comes together in a really meaningful way. I thought it was great. Overall, I would give the season a solid 8 out of 10, and I think I would give this finale episode a 9 out of 10. It was it was so great. Yeah.
Yeah. I I cannot recommend this enough. I will be telling everyone that I know that they need to watch Fallout if they haven't already. And if they have watched it, they should just watch it again because why not? I mean, the show's great. The show from season one, obviously, you could feel a little bit that they didn't have not didn't have a plan, but they didn't have everything ironed out so much. Whereas this season, it really feels like they at least have an idea of where to go, or at least a clearer idea of where to go next season. And you can kind of see like all of the building blocks and different factions building up together. That hopefully we're going to see all of that pay off next season, all the way to the finale.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Any final thoughts before we wrap up for today? This is a hefty episode, but I'm loving it. We had a lot to talk about today.
I uh I think that's all I got. I'm
Sweet.
talked out.
All right. Well, with that being said, I think that we are gonna sort of close things up for today. And as Richard said earlier, don't forget us to leave us your ratings. But before we go, I do want to give a quick shout out to all of the other really awesome podcasts in the network because there's quite a few of them in the Lorehound sphere, and every single one of them is worth listening to. First of all, big thank you to the ones who make everything possible here, our parent podcast, The Lorehounds. They've got some coverage going on for The Pit and A Night of the Seven Kingdoms, both of which I have been watching and listening along to the coverage. It's awesome. Uh, please go check it out. Also, they just did Wonder Man, which was some really fun coverage. I really liked Wonder Man. I think that Marvel knocked that one out of the park, and the coverage is really awesome. So don't skip out on the Lorehounds. Go check them out immediately. And also in the network, really excellent podcasts like We'll Shift Dust, Star Wars Canon Timeline Podcast, Rings and Rituals, Properly Howard Movie Review, who are working alongside the Lorehounds to get out coverage for A Night of the Seven Kingdoms. The Severance podcast will be coming back. God, who knows when? Severance isn't even filming yet. Don't even don't talk to me about Severance. They're making me mad. And of course, never mind the music, who has weekly coverage, and they've always got something interesting to say about psychology and music, and they're they're awesome. All of these podcasts are incredible. Links to all of them are going to be in the description of this episode, and please get in touch with us. That information is also going to be in the description. So thanks for coming by. Thanks for spending this season of Fallout with us, and we will be back very soon with coverage of The Boys and Invincible, I believe. So stay tuned for news on that, and we will see you.